Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another off-season video. Today, we're covering the Chicago Bulls, a team that was number one in the Eastern Conference for a decent chunk of the beginning of the regular season last year, but then fell off dramatically, ended up losing to the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games in the playoffs, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what they did in the offseason to remedy the things that were plaguing them last year. And let's just get right into it. As always, on YouTube, Hustle and Hoops, to see our visual component to this. And if you're already there, welcome. And let's get into it. So for our core four today, it's one of the more straightforward core fours in regards to
back-to-back
what
game
they
winners.
got. They got DeMar DeRozan at 1, Zach LaVine at 2, Lonzo Ball at 3, and Nikola Vucevic at 4. I'll do this one a little bit differently. I'll let you go first, Dove. Pick one of these 4 players and tell me something that you're looking from them. Just talk about them. Pick one of the 4 players. I know you prepared for the Bulls. What's something you can say about one of the 4 players?
Well, something I can say about one of the 4. Nope, never mind. That's negative. Something positive I can say about one of the 4 players.
I mean, it can be negative.
No, let's not say something negative. Let's be positive. Something positive I can say is, everyone knows how great DeMar DeRozan was in the mid-range. And we've all seen most of the videos and the clips, but I don't think everyone really knows that man shot 672 long mid-ranges throughout the season and shot 46% on them. I mean, dude is a killer.
Yeah.
It's Debo. It's DeMar. We've seen year after year after year after year after year, even with San Antonio, what this man can do. And I'm just excited to see, hopefully, knock on wood, whoever gets to talk about Lonzo Ball, that we get to see a healthy squad surrounding this man and get to see what this version of DeMar DeRozan looks like. Because I feel like, we only got a taste.
Yeah.
Just a taste.
I'll talk about Lonzo.
Go ahead. Go for it.
All right.
I was about to say that exact same thing.
You
I'm
took it
sorry,
first.
for
Rusty.
it. It's all right.
But I think out of these 4, it's easily Lonzo is the most important right now, is in terms of like on the court. Obviously you have DeRozan and LaVine, who are those guys as your scorers, but Lonzo is the facilitator. He makes the engine go. So we all know when he was healthy this past season, he was making them look disgusting. They were flying up the playoff, the rankings in the East, and then he went down and he hasn't been back since. So I just wanted to reiterate, like, we all know how important Lonzo is, but just staying healthy, like the description says, if he can just be out there and stay healthy, facilitate, then the Bulls, they have stuff to worry about, but not as much if Lonzo is on the floor.
Yeah.
Lonzo makes this team go from good to great. Shub, I'll take Vooch so you can have LaVine.
Okay.
But Vucevic, like he was really underwhelming last season. Like it was like, what is it, like only 2 seasons ago now? Vucevic beat the Bucks in the playoffs. He won a game in the playoffs by himself, and he was an all-star. Like we don't forget that. Like that happened.
Once that happens,
happened.
The Magic made the playoffs, and Vucevic won a game by himself against Giannis. Like he was very underwhelming this season, and the Bulls were a 1 seed for a long period of time. So like, who knows what can happen if Vooch returns to what he was on Orlando.
Yeah. I mean, if Vucevic can turn into the ancillary option. Ancillary.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever you want to call it.
He will not be the number 1 option. Like, that's what we saw with Orlando, but that doesn't mean he can't still be a good 3rd, 4th option. Lonzo Ball big question mark on the health. I don't think he'll be back in time for the regular season. That's not to say he won't play in the regular season, but the start of it won't be there. Vucevic has to step up. And to go with Zach LaVine has to be there as well. He has to stay healthy. Consistency is key for him. We see him go on streaks of like 30 points in a game, like 7 straight games, but then he gets hurt and then it's ruined. So COVID had some stuff to do with that this year. But if Zach LaVine can stay consistent, can stay healthy, improve the defense a little bit, like we saw their capabilities last year. We know their biggest struggle was against the good teams, but hopefully they learn from those mistakes. LaVine's dealt with a lot of losses in his long Bulls career. If they learn from those mistakes, if they learn how to beat the good teams, know what it takes to be a good team, then hopefully we can see it all put them together and they can make a playoff run. But let's get into the rest of the presentation. Shouts out MJ. The Bulls, they drafted Dalen Terry. When did they draft him? Anyone know? Just ballpark, because I'm completely blanking for some reason.
I think late first, ballparking.
Probably the mid to early 20s.
Okay. So, I mean, you can't expect too much from them to start, but he's there.
18.
Yeah, he's there.
Thanks.
He's nasty. He is nasty.
Yeah, we'll let you talk about him. He is definitely in your 10-man, so we'll let you talk about him when we get to there, Duve. But let's keep going to the rest of their offseason, which was
Carlos Boozer.
Kyle Korver again.
Not going to finish the line.
I mean,
Defensive player of the year, Joakim Noah.
Facts.
yeah.
All right, so they drafted Dalen Terry. They re-signed Derek Jones Jr. And then they added and they also re-signed Zach LaVine, obviously. He is now a Supermax guy, so you have to put Supermax pressure on him. That's a given. He's got to step up with that contract. And then they took 2 shots at vets in Andre Drummond and Goran Dragic. They won the Goran Dragic sweepstakes. He might have to start for Lonzo. We'll see. And then the only losses they had were Tristan Thompson and Troy Brown Jr. So honestly, let's just talk, like when we're talking player, does anyone feel like Tristan Thompson and Troy Brown Jr. are losses?
No, because they got Drummond.
Yeah.
Like Tristan would just be like, he's a decent guy to play for a few minutes, and Drummond will be better than that. So
yeah. So because we have these guys that we're about to talk about in our rotations, let's just go right into our personnel and rotations.
Oops.
So Mindy, let's go to you first. Break us through your rotation. And
why does Mindy
especially
get a
your bench.
logo?
let's go.
I couldn't find another silhouette.
Just to start off, I full honesty, am not that educated on Dalen Terry, so I didn't put him in here. I'll talk about the guys I know.
Yep, do it.
They've got 10 good guys who have been good in the NBA, so I will talk about them. Those 10 fully healthy. I don't think the starting lineup is debatable. We've all got the same one. Off the bench, Caruso is their 6th man. I think Goran will play when Lonzo's injured and then kind of fall out unless he plays well, which that might also happen. But I think Caruso is the 6th man, even if Lonzo's out. I don't know. I just think that having a strong starting lineup and then bringing Caruso off the bench is such a big advantage.
Agreed.
Whatever. I got Drummond, Derek Jones Jr., and then the young guys, Kobe White and Ayo at the 9 and 10. I don't really think there's too much of a discussion there.
Yeah, I mean, they're bench players right now, and
Yeah,
they're in your bench. Duville, why don't you take us through your bench and especially Dalen Terry and why you got him there and we don't?
I mean, like Mindy said, there's a lot of guys here who are going to get run. So other than Drummond, Caruso, and Goran, I'd say their bench is pretty young, and I would like to get them run. If you listen to the Warriors, Doug made a point about getting the young guys shots. So I think that could happen here, although they have playoff aspirations. I think they need to get these young guys run like Io and Kobe and Dalen because they all have great potential. And then if Zoe isn't there, you have the ability to go to a Goran. But I would like to see them go young and maybe start a Kobe or a Caruso. I mean, Caruso's not that young, but you could start him and see how that goes. I do think Dalen Terry deserves a spot on this rotation because he's nasty and he's very young with that potential again. And I also wanted to say, I do think my 11th man was going to be Javonte Green. He was very good this past season, and he's definitely going to get run. I just didn't put him in there because the other guys.
Yeah, and Dove, your lineup looks pretty similar to the combination of everyone. So tell us.
Yeah. Well, I think Io, no one's really totally mentioned him. I think has all defense in his future. I think he has a developing offensive game that can pair quite nicely, like you guys have talked about, Caruso coming off the bench. And then I think, Andre Drummond, like Mindy said earlier, he'll come in and be productive in those short spurts as long as you keep it to those short spurts. Derek Jones Jr., I think he's, a solid perimeter defender, athletic rebounder, and just a, complimentary guy to have on your team. And then Javonte Green, the guy who was in the 91st percentile for field goal offensive rebound percentage. It means every time a teammate shot the ball, he was grabbing the rebound at the 91st percentile. That makes no sense.
He grabs
but what
boards.
Makes sense is he grabs boards. Boardman gets paid. Boardman gets paid. Boardman gets played.
I wanted him to say like the Torian Prince Baylor definition of a rebound.
Yeah, basically.
I would give Io my minutes over Kobe.
I
by
agree.
the way, looking at my lineup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Also,
definitely.
Kobe is kind of there as like, hey, is Caruso and Io not scoring at all? Fine.
Yeah, I actually do not have Kobe in my lineup. I took him out when I realized Dragic existed. I'm the only one that has Dragic in their lineup. I think Dragic will probably start when Lonzo is out. And I have Caruso as my sixth man. I think Caruso could compete for sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
I think he just did so well in that role for the Bulls last year. Obviously, Grayson Allen took him out because he was so good. So I think if he's healthy, I think he's competing for sixth man of the year. Io's got his minutes. Javonte Green, advanced stats aside, like dude hooped last year. Like
I tried.
I'm not trying to shit on your advanced stats. Like
no,
like,
I tried. I'm
just saying, like
advanced stat.
Like advanced stats aside, like he stepped up last year. They needed someone to step up when people were injured, and it was him. And then Dragic and Drummond, like they didn't bring him in not to play him, and that leaves Kobe White on the outside looking in. I've always been a big Kobe White guy. Like he's only 21. He can score the ball very well. He's like gotten better, more efficient. He's just lacking on defense. I don't know what it is. I feel like people just always tell me Kobe White sucks, and like it finally got to me that like he's just like, yeah. He's
so no
okay
Derek
enough.
Jones Jr. for you?
Oh, I don't like Derek Jones Jr. I think his athleticism just blinds people.
Yeah,
think he's like better.
I'm
than
with
he
that.
is.
I let
think
him
he's
off
saying-
too.
I think he's
Like-
become a better defender than you.
I mean,
he's
well, that's
decent.
because of his athleticism. Like he's not a.
That
He's,
doesn't mean that he's not a good
well, yeah. I mean, that's.
defender
But he's not.
or rebounder.
He's really not good on offense. Besides
mid,
being catching
is what
lobs.
you could say.
And his defense
he's
doesn't.
a role player.
Well,
Like
I
I'm
mean,
not.
his defense. I don't think his defense is so good that it's like, yeah, he has to be in the lineup.
No, but it's definitely better than Kobe White's.
But they also
Yeah.
like they like that's a given.
I know that's
like,
not a direct
everyone on the
comparison,
roster plays
but I'm
better
saying.
defense than
But
Kobe White.
my point,
And Kobe
the
White's
point
not
that
in
I'm
my
making
10
with that-
man.
The point that I'm making with that is just that, like, either way, you're making these points, but like that doesn't take away from the fact that he still gives those things.
I mean, you don't like they didn't sign Derek Jones Jr. for his defense. They signed him for his athleticism.
I disagree.
I'm with that. Yeah.
I don't
I'm
think
with
that's
that.
true.
I mean,
I don't think that's true. I don't
That's
think any
fair.
NBA team is going out there and making a decision like, oh yeah, this guy's entertaining just because of his athleticism. Let's sign him.
I didn't say they signed him because he's entertaining.
You signed
got a point.
he's big
I got a
jumpy guy,
point.
big jump guy. So
Please.
let's sign him. Like, no,
Please.
I don't.
My
say that.
ceiling for the Chicago Bulls. Has everyone done their lineups, Duve?
Yeah.
Yep. Go for it,
Okay.
Andy.
My ceiling for the Chicago Bulls is the conference finals. Similar to an Atlanta Hawks appearance, similar to a Dallas Mavericks appearance, where either they're hot at the right time and they're going to beat a good team, like the Mavericks beat the Suns, or like Atlanta, some teams like the Nets don't pan out because of Ben Simmons, similar to the 76ers when the Hawks beat them, and who knows with injuries. But I just think there's too many good teams in the East for the Bulls to make the finals. Floor, that's a tougher question. I don't really know what I was going to say for that. I guess like a 6 seed. I think they make the playoffs, not having to play in. And then that would mean a first round exit probably.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make the playoffs for sure.
All right, cool. Duville, floor and ceiling for the team.
I'll go quickly. Floor, I think, is an 8 seed play-in loss. And I think their ceiling would be second round exit.
I mean, okay. And Dove, expectations?
I'm kind of just gonna match Minden. I think he's pretty much on the dot with that one. Conference finals loss, unfortunately, is all I can really see for this team as of right now. And then floor of, I guess, what did you say, Minden? You said
6 seed, so they're
Um,
not in the play.
avoiding the
They're
play-in,
above the
yeah.
yeah, I would probably say the same as well. 6 seed, just
Maybe
matched
7.
last year. I think it really just is like, can you really argue that like Charlotte, New York? Well, I guess New York will be better, but Charlotte, Washington.
Cavs will be better and the Nets will be better. That puts them at 7. So
No,
if
but
everyone else is above them.
will
Tough
they be
one.
better?
It's
Will
tough.
they? I don't know.
We'll see.
They
We'll
had
see.
a
I don't
better
know.
record than
Six
'cause they were
to
the 6
7
seed.
seed.
And that was with the fall off after January, like the wild fall off after
If
January.
you have been keeping
That
up,
was because of Lon. Yeah.
No, but I'm
if-
saying they still ended up at 6
all right,
with all
all
that.
right, we got it. We all know how to read the standings. We got to wrap it up.
Okay.
So if you've been keeping up with Hustle and Hoops, the Bulls were my sleeper team last year. I picked them to make the finals. It looked really good for the first couple months of the season. Then it didn't. I'm doing it again. The Bulls
Come
can make the
on!
finals.
Oh,
The
Everybody
Bulls
else
can make
Ship
the
it.
finals this year.
We'll see ya.
They can
Mark it
also
and
miss the
stamp it,
playoffs.
boys.
DHL it.
Put it in the rafters so everybody
Ship
knows.
it.
Put it in the wrap.
They can make the playoffs again. I stand by. Sleeper team. Let's ride. Bulls Nation. Let's ride. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode. We appreciate it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us everywhere. Hustle and Hoops, Hustle and Hoops, Hustle and Hoops. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.